pushing through, catches a double, and he's left in this 1v1. Bomb planted for Heaven. Molly gonna block off the angle. Grim fights through the fights through the flames, and in his dying breath secures that round for Passion.
You'd think that would be enough. That molly is perfection. It is just enough time for Grim to swing out and find that one bullet required. Both players on 30 health or lower. And Grim finds the single shot that he needs to win that round. Finally, their multi-kill not going to waste. Burns for the round win. If he plays any safer, it's over. Chaos outside. Blitz another opening death. Stuck trying to escape in secret. The pace change for Passion finds him a 5v4. Grim even in main. They run through the smoke. The call is there. Techno crunches, but miss spray on the MP9. Opens up another top side. Hauser triple kill. Monstrous round. 9-10 is just going to go through. Frustration here. Put to use.
Oh, Nix! Thank goodness. Now, they never knew about Mazinho, but he's the only guy with health. Halzerg, come on, he's already done enough. Nix, this is his round. It's where he's going to walk it home. With the backstab in for Mazinho. Gone on, not in time for Nix, and Halzerg getting charged out. Closes it at 3 HP. He'll do it all if he has to. Halzerg ties this game up again. It's just big round after big round from this three-man star power core at the heart of Passion.
Yeah, I can't believe he wins that. Tucked a millimeter into the middle of the two silos. And so when Mazinho swings, he doesn't see him. He thinks he has to be backside. Halzerg's repeat is perfect. Two crazy clutch out rounds here from Passion UA. And Mongols looked like they were storming towards the finish line on this CT side. Finally had the money funneled out from beneath them. Passion gonna get a presumably free round. And despite all of this, Controllers, the player who we said looked the weakest on this map for this squad in Chengdu, is still top fragging. Guys.
How are they getting... they've been dinked so many times through the smokes. Oh my god, okay.
No, you can't lose this.
Yeah, don't lose this. You never recover from that.
No, that's GG. It's full USPs. Blitz has a Zeus. It's not happening. 4v2. Blitz goes down to the B site. Slight gamble here for Mongols, and Passion look to avoid it again with Heaven Control being a strong option in mind. I was scared for a moment.
Oh, I know, it was Pandora's box.
I mean, after his 1v1, you know, last second clutch, he got faith in Grim up in Heaven.
I'm scared that he went Heaven with the 6 health AK. I know it's a strong position, but you could give Mongols an AK. And we know you give the wrong Mongols player an AK, they can win a round on their own. This is like the best team, one-round ecos, or one-gun ecos rather, other than Spirit. But even that's up for debate. And I know a lot of you here, waking up early today, or staying up late, are waiting for that Spirit Falcons game. Winner of this one plays them for the semis. Loser of this one plays them to be eliminated and not make it to the stage. 6 out of 8 teams will play in the arena here in Hong Kong. Who's it gonna be? Can you imagine Mongols going to the lower group game only to beat one of the 2 favorites? They've already beat Spirit last week in Chengdu.
Yeah, I think, you know, whichever... Like, in the world where Passion go on to win this, which they very much could with how they're fighting back right now, whoever misses out on playoffs at an event where almost every team that enters goes to playoffs, with the exception of just 2, 1 from each group, that feels like a colossal miss.
Especially when you look at this group and you go, it's obviously Passion who don't make it to playoffs. Like that's every expectation. It would be an upset, no matter how you slice it. To imagine that not only They could, but they could do it by just winning one match. Here we go. Most important gun round yet. 10-9. Passion with the lead. Mongols money.
Oh, it's on the edge, man.
Yeah.
Like, if they win this round, they are on the path to playoffs, to a win, to an upset over the Mongols. This is the round for all the marbles, really.
Just such a great opportunity considering we haven't even seen Passion play an official in 42 days and they haven't played a LAN like this in quite a while.
I think a massive underdog team that have had nothing but time to go and prep, finding an upset win to lock in at least a strong, a strong run, a chance to go to playoffs. That does wonders for the confidence. You feel like all the practice wasn't in vain.
Crunch around. Messino's been solid, but he falls short after just a single kill. Blitz throws himself, shuts the door behind him, locks himself into this cave.
Yeah, it's polite, but I don't know if it was the right move. Gun on, not in time. Still gets out with one. But now you're left scratching your head. You don't even know for sure where this round looks to end up. You saw players exiting at B, but now you learn about Kvem out in Garage. And so you've got to piece this one together, Mongols. 2 on 3. They'll split the defense for now.
They figured it out. They know what's going on. Techno can come up vent, and he has already put himself in position. The AWP has the cover. Kvem is now lost to the wind, and they know to look for him here in main. JT waits for Kvem's contact, making steps and checks out that player, but there's still an AWP in the site, and the AWP is kicking up dust in the face of Passion. He needs both the kills, and he doesn't have a chance. Techno and 910 save that 2v3. Blitz's frustration is leading him astray, but his young players are still coming through with clutch rounds. Blitz is just trying to close the door so he can get behind the site in time and have them not see him, but Passion's pace could have won them the round. If they commit there, Harry, there's no one at home. There's no one to stop them. Techno ready for this top hit. This molly timing is impeccable.
You're still with a chance here, but they will get away from you quickly if you come up short in this round. It'll be remembered as another game.
Cancel.
That was close, that you could have found success in, but ultimately doesn't pan out.
Back they go. It's good to cancel here because Kvem also found them a kill outside. At the same time, he gets
Only
the garage.
thing that can be scary with it going back into the yard here is you only got one smoke, so you don't have the full util for a cross. You can try and block off an AWP by putting it down over towards Unbreakable. Even then, there'd still be sightlines open. Kvem with a very big kill. That warrior, the AWP, now struck from the round.
Mongols have missed some really open timings in this CT side. The fact that Kvem gets that kill earlier, they don't realize he could be garage. 910 pays the price with his life. And Kvem, he was cold in that first map. It felt like it was the difference maker between perhaps Passion even winning this and what would have been a 2-0. But he is sharp here on the T side of Nuke, 20 and 16. The young star of this squad, the addition to the core of this NA roster, is going on to lead them to victory. Can they finish what he started?
Trollez been the standout for him on Nuke, but only gets away with one. Kvem and Halzerk, key kills in the round. They overwhelm Techno as Halzerk adds another. And Grim
Wait.
jiggled on the heavens.
No.
Has to give us ground.
Okay.
Halzerk, when required, again stands and delivers with a big 3K. All of them trades, all of them important. Halzerk is not crumbling under the pressure. He wants this win.
Grim's just flying off silos because he can't drop anywhere else on low health. And Halzerk barely sees the tippy top of the head, but it's enough. Kvem's double, Halzerk's triple, and Mongols in trouble late in this game. The upset is right there for the taking. Smashing Mongols money yet again on this CT side. Look at what they've got. 2 guns. Controllers M4, Blitz the same. He's had a bit of a shambles in this CT side. And there's another gone as well. Controllers M4 lost in the door. They try and crunch lobby together. Mongols might have to cancel. It's so patient. Passion wait for this exact play. On that fade. Ooh. Wait a sec.
Oh, Nyx, only good for one. These MP9s keep it even. And they don't gain any ground out towards ramp, so you got to look elsewhere. Now look, Halzerk and Kavem, they've been heavy hitters. They've been the two really trying to keep the dream alive for Passion. And they still get to play in this round. JT leads the charge, letting them play trade. Techno, dead in the door.
Nice shot.
Blitz tries to take this angle. There is a smoke on Halzerk and JT that can be used to block off main. They cover the heaven wrap round, and so now just Blitz. Spam connects, brings Kavem down low, but I don't know if he's in the business of attempting this 1v3. It might be Passion with two chances to walk this over the line. Bit of an awkward kill to give away, but you still have info.
Fine.
And he's so far removed from this 1v2 with no kit. There isn't time for Blitz to attempt it. Passion have got two opportunities for an upset win over the Mongols. The Mongols have no money. They are broke. This AK getting out of the round means that they can try and cobble together maybe a second rifle around it. But Passion will have two opportunities on Nuke to lock in a playoff run. And you can't ignore the output of Halzerk, Kavem, and Grim as this series has gone on.
They know the opportunity they have right now. And they are seizing it.
They have been itching to get back to officials. They've had 42 days to put themselves through the ringer, put in the hours and practice, and that practice might be paying off.
Yeah, we haven't seen them in the playoff of a Tier 1 event since Peugeot Bucharest under Complexity. But this one's simple. This one's cut and dry. Two chances
and
to make it
no
to the
chance
arena.
Easier than this one. It's two rifles, an AK and an M4. Other than that, SMGs, no utility, and the 5v4. 5v3 as even Nyx extends that lead, but out of nowhere, Blitz comes through with a double.
They've just lined up. Crossing before the smokes, they pay the price. Nyx has vent rotation, his early drop, high value. They're overcooking, they're going through the smoke, they're trying to go back. Nyx has lower control. Passion changed their mind on the fly, and it's left them high and dry. The bomb's even been spotted going back outside, so Mongols now know what's up. Even Mizzino could rotate up if he wants to stay active, try and flank Nyx here, who's pulled back from his position. If Nyx doesn't turn around in time, this round is over. Grim pushed in through main. Techno Molly, it goes deep, he survives. It ticks.
Huge pickup for Grim. Massive that Molly spreads. Mizzino still arriving on this wrap round though, and it's not Grim. You want to die here. Nyx, bottom of the board. 1v2 clutch rolled out in front of him. Damage put down range. This would be one hell of a time for Nyx to have his best round on the third map. Blitz, he's the one that threw this whole thing in a peril. With the double up out in the yard, took it to a hat trick. He's looking for 4 to keep this game raging on.
He's running out of time.
Blitz has always said when it comes to clutches, there's no one he trusts more than himself. Let's see if he can put that theory to work. Up through the vent, Nyx looking the wrong way, and Blitz collects. The Mongols keep battling back.
Oh, it definitely feels like an overcook there for Passion. They had it all laid out on a plate in front of them. They had the lower control. They had vent cut off, but they get shut down by that smoke spam from Blitz, or rather a swing before the smoke. Blitz gets 2 kills in a 3-on-5, and it keeps the game going. It keeps Mongols in contention. Even in that 2v3, they could have gone lower into a 3-on-1. But no. We play on into the last round of Reg and maybe more. As Mara tries to keep Mongols in it. Passion hunt for the finish. But you can't help but thinking, did they just lose their best chance?
had that last round. That was the easiest it was going to get. Now you've got to do it with less passion. You got to try and stave off overtime when we get there. The Mongols suddenly can have their second wind. It's a fast topside play.
Wow.
Grim provides the opening. Techno in defense has just gone uncleared. Oh, a huge pickup. JT with the flick back round and a 4v2. Surely this is where they do it. Mazinho rotates into heaven. The Mongols might have had ambitions of making it into those playoffs. Did it back in Chengdu, but here they fall to Passion UA in a grueling 3-map series. Passion playoff bound. They've been waiting to get back to the officials. They've put in the hours, they've put in the practice, and it shows come the turn of Nuke on map 3.
Without a doubt, it's been 42 days since they played an official. It's been 6 months since they've seen an arena, but Passion UA make it to playoffs.
And they do it in style. The practice paid off, and certainly a well-deserved victory. Fighting from behind in many of the maps, struggling to get a pistol win, but still taking it over the line, and didn't need to go to overtime.
No, they really had to fight for it. You know, the Mongols showing up and putting up a good fight. Unfortunately for them, not good enough in order to beat Passion UA, who I think played some great Counter-Strike. Depending on where they're at right now, people look at them as a tier 2 team, maybe even tier 3. They come in, they go up against the Mongols, and in the vast majority of this game, on every single map, they had an opportunity to win. I know it was overtimes, I know it was close games, but you can make the case that Passion UA played the best Counter-Strike in the buy rounds. Their biggest issue tonight was not winning any pistols. They won 1 out of 6, yet they still found a way to win this game. So overall, gotta give credit to Passion UA.
Well, looking at this, right, this is a win they can be proud of. This is a playoffs of a big event that hasn't happened in this jersey so far. We've got JT with us here. Mate, what a crazy series for that. Just how good does this win feel for you right now?
Honestly, feels amazing. I think that we didn't even play our best. Like,
okay.
I really thought that we should have won overpass. We were in the driver's seat, in my opinion, and we made a lot of mistakes that we weren't doing in practice. But yeah, just really happy that we get to play in the arena with Gavem. It's going to be his first time in the arena, so it's going to be just fun for him.
A big move and a big achievement. There's been a lot of practice, a lot of talk about this in the interviews, and I spoke to Grim. He was saying like how much grind you guys have been putting in, but pistol rounds, maybe not so much of that was practice.
I mean, honestly, in practice, our pistol rounds are going good. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things, like pistol rounds can just go down to just aim duels or just unlucky setups and stuff like that. So we'll go back and look what happened in those pistol rounds, because every half we were just like on the back foot. So it was quite a struggle to actually get into the game.
Were you surprised by the Mongols you faced today? I know they lost Sensu as of late, but we saw them play well in Chengdu. Did you expect more from them, or was it more so as you expected?
I'd say they played how we expected. They were still a great team. I think we just played really well, and it was a tough game for both teams.
Yeah, tough game for both teams. I mean, the Mongols, obviously with a new player coming into it, you guys have had 42 days of practice, which is something that a lot of teams can have right now because they're going to tournaments. Do you feel that as well, that you've progressed as a team in the last month where everyone else has been traveling around?
Yes, I mean, definitely we progressed. There was a lot to work on, and we got through it all. I'd say that it was a little boring. Like, it's, I mean, the fun part of CS is playing matches, and I also think, I mean, the best practice is matches still. Like, we need to have the same feeling, what it feels like to play close games like that. You don't get that in practice, and that's honestly most of the time what we struggle with, is just like dealing with the pressure and closing out games. Like, even this game here, one of the, I think like the second last round of Nuke, like we should have won that easily, and we fucked it up. So yeah, I think that's what we need right now is matches, and I'm happy that we won because we'll get some more now.
Well, a really positive start here from you and the team. Congratulations on making it through the playoffs. We'll see you tomorrow, mate.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll take a look at the groups and see how things are panning out as Passion UA have moved through in a very positive fashion. Do you remember I said this to you? I said that this could be this magic that happens, right? This is their greatest chance, and now this sets them up very nicely. And whoever goes down to that lower bracket, you don't want to face a fired up Mongols for that spot.
As I said, you know, this was the best opportunity for Passion UA getting into this tournament. They avoid going down to the elimination game. They avoid playing Falcons and Spirit in the loser game. Now they'll play one of them in the upper bracket final. So for Passion UA, this is a massive result. You know, this is also a testament and a statement, even if they were to lose the following 2 games. Because let's be honest, they're still going to face some world-class teams. They've now shown that they can contest with a team like the Mongols, heading into the major probably with some more confidence, and also making the rest of the world known that Passion UA can still play Counter-Strike at a high level.
Well, there's another high-level game coming our way. The next match is going to be Spirit taking on Falcons.
Excited to see how some of the big dogs play today. Really, anything can happen.
It's a hell of a challenge with Donk hitting as hard as he has been. The EWC hiccup was made up for, I think. Falcons want to make this run deep into playoffs. That is what's in their sights.
And here we have it. We're moving into our second game of the day. And this is a matchup where the teams have played against each other not so long ago. It was in the favor of Falcons. And Spirit, they struggled in Chengdu. They didn't even have a chance of making it through to the playoffs. Something that is unexpected when you have a player like Donk on the team. But right now, for Falcons, they've been so consistent. They've been so dominant. Okay, they haven't lifted the trophy, but you can rely on them to be in playoffs, to make deep runs, maybe even be in the final.
Let's just establish this from the get-go. Like, we're looking at two teams who are heading into the major in a couple of weeks with aspirations to win. We're looking at two teams who are heading into this tournament, and basically every tournament they attend to, with the aspirations to win. This is an opening game in a group stage, but it could easily be a semi-final or a final in a playoff game. Two of the best teams in the world right now, as you said. Falcons on an upward trajectory, Spirit on a downward trajectory. Haven't looked great in the last couple of tournaments, but we can't forget the fact they won in Cologne, they won Blast, Bounty as well in Malta, so they have tasted success. Whereas for Falcons, as you said, even though they're playing good Counter-Strike right now, even though they're consistently getting into semifinals, sometimes in the grand finals, they can't seem to win them.
Well, Nico said himself to me in the interview, right, that right now it seems like they're lacking as a team the experience on stage. That's the hurdle they need to get over now. But when it comes to group stages, they are so dominant. They don't let their foot off the gas.
I mean, in Chengdu, they went through the group stage without losing a single game. And I would say that we're the best playing team heading into the playoff. But as you said, once we head into the playoff, it seems like there's I don't want to call it a mental block because that's too easy, but there's definitely something going on within the Falcons camp where they need to get over that hurdle of winning a big game in a playoff, an important game. I know they've been in the grand final of the Pro League, but even in that grand final, they got absolutely smacked by Vitality. So there's still something left to be decided for Falcons. But let's be honest, consistently getting into semifinals and grand finals in this day and age of Counter-Strike, that's not easy.
No, it's not easy, and a lot of teams will be very happy for that. But because this is like the super team, right? We talk about all the assets they have, everything they have behind them, the staffing, everything that the Falcons want, they get. And that's what now means they need to get the trophies, right?
That's the pressure that you apply to Falcons, and I think that's the pressure the players apply to themselves as well. They know there's no excuse. They know that when you have Monesi, Nico, Kyusuke coming into the lineup as well. You have Sonic behind him, who's one of the greatest coaches to ever coach in Counter-Strike. Obviously, there's going to be pressure. Obviously, there's going to be expectations of them to win. So far in the second half of the season, ever since Cologne, it's been getting better and better and better. But I think the players, the fans, the community for that matter as well, they want to see them win stuff. They want to see them actually come to fruition and go all the way and win stuff. And it starts all today with beating Spirit. That's an important game. You don't want to go into the elimination game. You don't want to face a potential Vitality already in a semifinal. Winner of this game is putting himself in a good position, especially knowing that Passion UA is waiting.
Exactly that, right? That is on paper an easier game, but maybe they got some more tricks up their sleeve. You never know how it can go down. I want to focus on Monesi just a little bit because he has come back into form. He has come back. We've heard the voice comms, right? How much control he's taking in the game, what he's calling in some of the situations. He is back on his A game right now, and that is scary for Spirit to deal with.
It's great to see Monesi back in his A game because when he joined Falcons the first time, in the first couple of tournaments, he was also playing at an incredible high level. And then we saw him tamper off. We saw him in Austin not have a great tournament. We saw him begin the year a little bit rocky, so to speak. Cologne wasn't a great feat for him, but ever since Cologne, he's been getting better and better and better, and he's now playing at his absolute best. And there's no doubt, Falcons with a Monesi playing at his best, that is a very dangerous team.
Well, one thing I do want to hear, though, is a little bit more from Nico, because he has a good understanding of this matchup, and he has a lot of experience against winning against Team Spirit.
He does, and he's also...
the Spirit matchup again, right? You're going to face them very close back-to-back. Does anything change from your side going this, or do you expect more change to come from them?
I would definitely expect more change to come from them. We haven't seen a change in the map pool from them, at least, so probably different approach. I believe they have to change something. I think even... or we listen maybe to their vlog or something, they said that they have difficulties every time they play against me and Monesi. They're getting picked off, so we should expect a different approach, definitely. Maybe not, maybe they will think that we will expect a different approach, so it's very hard to say right now, but I expect a good game, going up against Spirit and Donk. It's always a tough challenge. You really have to be on your A game in order to beat them, so excited for the game.
And it is a situation where Falcons and Nico Monesi themselves, they just have the number. They play better. They elevate themselves to another standard when it comes against Spirit.
They kind of have to, and they kind of have to apply their pressure towards each other. Nico moving into a new role where he's a little bit more laid back, where he's giving up more responsibility to Kyusuke as well. I think that Nico, sitting and watching playing Counter-Strike, he's going to find his level, he's going to find his footing, and he's already getting better, but he also needs to see that for him to sacrifice some of his old roles, it needs to be paid off by Kyosuke, and I think he's also getting better. So I think the vibe within the camp right now is that yes, they're frustrated not winning tournaments, yes, they're frustrated going into semifinals, maybe not playing up to the best, but every time we see them play in the group stage, every time we see them at a tournament, it's getting better and better and better, and as long as that's the case, I think the vibe within the team is still going to be good.
Now, another vibe on the team on the other side for Spirit, it's not looking too good. We're seeing that frustration again. We're seeing struggles. We're seeing them lose games that we wouldn't normally expect them to lose. And I will just say this, to me, right now, this is the worst Spirit we've seen since Donka's joined.
I think that's fair to say, you know, and it was a bit surprising because when they first bought Sway in, they started off by winning IM Cologne. Then they go on to the Bounty and win in Malta, win another tournament. You think to yourself, all right, is this going to be the year where Spirit is going to come back and contest as the only team versus Vitality? And then you see the results as of late. EWC, a disaster. Blast Open, not good enough. EPL, not good enough. Chengdu, not even in the playoff. Not good enough. And you see some of the players not stepping up anymore. Sway hasn't really found his footing within Spirit. Donk had a terrible tournament in Chengdu by his own standards. And Tenia, who was supposed to come in and add more firepower, we're still left to be desired with seeing him coming fully into fruition. I think right now they're having trouble integrating all these new pieces. Sway coming into it, Tenia coming into it. I feel like it's one change too many, and it happened too soon for Spirit for them to be fully on board. The good thing for Spirit is they have this tournament to get back on track, and then they have the major and some time to practice, but it's about now, James. Otherwise, as you said, if they have another poor showing here in Hong Kong, it's not looking good for the major.
Yeah, and that's a really worrying sign, right? And there's another worrying sign here. I found a couple of quotes from Donk doing an interview with Hotspot that I want to bring up and just get your thoughts on here. Because just take a look at this. We are too easy to predict. It's easy for people to understand in which direction we attack. That's the only reason we lose 5v4s. Because remember, he's getting all the openings. He's doing his part of the role.
Yeah. I guess that's a ballsy statement. That's a fair enough statement. I think there's some truth to it as well, but I don't think it's that bad.
But then look at this. So on to the next one. And then we get this. This is what I want to try. Chopper is IGL, so he doesn't have to perform and show amazing numbers. He has to be a good leader, not an aimer or a fragger. Put these two together. So what is he trying to say that he's doing?
Yeah, that's
if both are bad right now,
true.
Where are we at?
There has been a lot of criticism of Chopper as well as of late. I think the reason why Chopper is struggling, the reason why Spirit is struggling is that they've changed too much, you know, in a short period of time. You bring in Sway, inexperienced. You bring in Tenia. Yes, he played a little bit in Heroic, but never in the big games, never in the big playoffs. So you bring in two inexperienced players, and you have to fit them into a team, into a system where you beforehand had Sontics and Magics who were very methodical in the way they were playing.
Yes.
I think Chopper is under a lot of pressure right now to make this Spirit work out, and maybe there's something to it. Maybe Donk feels that right now Chopper's not calling his best game, but then I would be Chopper and say, yes, but I don't have the pieces I used to have to work with. Beforehand, I didn't have to spend too much time telling Sontics what to do or telling Magics what to do. They knew it. Whereas now he has a much bigger responsibility trying to figure out how to get the best out of Tenia and how to get the best out of Sway. So the man near screen, yes, under a lot of criticism, but I don't think the work conditions for him right now is as easy as people make it to be.
Yeah, some more time might be needed, but let's find out from Chopper what he's thinking ahead of this match. Okay, you did play Falcons quite recently, right? What did you learn from that coming into this? Is there some changes you made? Because you went for the same map, so is there some other changes you've looked to adjust?
First of all, we are and they offer each other. We know how to play, we are, how they play, and what we try to do in this game, in just better start game. I think like that because Falcons have little things like they like to destroy stars games, yeah, and sometimes it's really hard and really pain because you do something and they just come in with new things. You don't see it in demos, you don't see everywhere, and they just do some setups, new one, and you need to prepare for that. Maybe today they do it, maybe no, I don't know, but let's see.
Well, he's aware of what could be happening, and one other thing he said during the interview that we played out earlier is the fact that at the moment with Tenia, he doesn't have a huge amount of demos to review things and ways to fix things. He's hoping he gets that here at Hong Kong, a bit more to get themselves ready before the boot camp and the major.
I was just about to say, you know, one thing is having the data and having the material to review, another thing is having time. We just spoke about Passion UA, who had 42 days of practice. JT even said that was kind of boring to some extent, but you can get so much better when you have time to practice. Spirit have not had that time. I know they went out of Chengdu before the playoff. I think they flew back, maybe, and then come back here to...
I did actually confirm they didn't fly back. So they went on a plane, but it was they were just late going from Chengdu rather than than going earlier.
Fair
They
enough.
spent their time in Chengdu trying to get some extra practice in.
Okay, that's good, Jürgen, because that's what they need. They need time to practice. They need time to iron out the stuff. Yes, data is good, but if you don't have time to iron out all the mistakes, you don't have time to analyze the data and figure out how to make it better, then it's not worth anything. So I buy into that. I think here in Hong Kong, it's a bit of a joker tournament for Spirit. I think now they've set the bar so low that even if they were to go out in a third place or in a fourth place, it's okay for them. Their eyes are set on the major now. So this is a bit of a freebie. You know, get some more data, get some experience, get some confidence if you can, but no expectations here.
And you know this, right, far better than I can do. If you're looking at your being in Chopper's situation, you already said about the 2 new players coming in. You've just had like a couple of events, right? They've not been going so well. There's not loads of maps you played. So having Chengdu, a little bit more to review. Now having Hong Kong as well, is that enough then that he's got something to work with for him and Harry to really sit down with the right time before the major where we can see them rise back up? Is that enough?
It should be, especially considering they're coming into stage 3 and we'll have a little more time, you know, to review their own games, but also look at the opponents that they're facing. I don't have any excuses for Spirit. Yes, you're changing 2 players. Yes, you brought in Tinea. More firepower, by the way. He's still a fantastic player. Sway maybe not fully up to date with how they want to play in Spirit and how he can perform, but overall, if they don't perform at the major, then yes, that would be disappointing. I think they've had enough time to integrate the 2 new pieces.
Now, we're just going to give you a little update. The server does have some issues right now, so we have a slight delay, but we can continue talking about Spirit and just the growth what we're hoping to see from them, because Tinea, you're right, firepower upgrade is definitely in there, but I want to look at this. Zontix was able to do so much, right? Utility-wise, buying time-wise, which you don't get right now from a player who's not as experienced. If you think of how much time Donk spent playing Face It with Magix and Zontix, they know each other so well, right? That setups, the communicate, well, doing things even without communicating. You can't expect that from these guys yet. How long will that take? Because obviously, that was talking about how much setting Donk up for success in the past.
That's a very good question, and part of me want to say I don't think they get enough time because I don't think, unless Spirit goes into the semi-final in the major, unless they maybe even go into the final, I think Spirit are looking to perhaps bringing one of either Suntix or Magix back for the next season. I don't think the current iteration of Spirit have really ironed it out in terms of roles, in terms of experience. I'll also say one of the most underrated things people don't speak enough about is not necessarily bringing in a guy like Tinea and adding more firepower, or bringing in a guy like Sway and adding more firepower. No, if you bring in 2 new guys, what happens if Donk performs 5% worse off because he's now not surrounded by players he knows exactly what's doing? Then maybe you bring in Tinea, who's arguably a better aimer or a better firepower upgrade compared to Suntix, and that would add maybe 10%. But losing 5% of Donk capabilities is way more significant than adding 10% to a guy like Tinea. So it's all about finding that balance. If Donk doesn't feel comfortable around the 2 new guys, where it's at a point where they are inexperienced, where they're not communicating the same way Suntix did, the same way Magix did, and that takes off from Donk's game, that is way more significant than whatever firepower you're going to add in different departments.
I also want to look at the crazy head-to-head we have here in terms of Nico and Munacy going up against Shiro and Donk. This is a wild one, Pimp, because it's so far in one favor, but just look at these results and look how long this has been going on.
I just want to state this for everyone at home who's watching right now. Donk and Shiro has never ever in their entire life beaten Nico and Munacy. Not in Falcons, not in G2, never ever. It's kind of crazy. It's something we called attention to during IM Chengdu, where, as we said, it was also another victory for the Falcons. Imagine being Donk, imagine being Shiro, having won majors, having won tournaments, especially Donk, who's arguably the best player this year. He's never ever beaten Nico or Munacy. That must give him extra motivation, but could also be a bit of a confidence issue, knowing that every time you play these guys, you're just losing.
Yeah, is it just a mental block, though? At that point,
I don't think so. Not for a guy like Donk. Not for a guy like I don't know. I don't know if it's stylistic an issue. I don't know if it's timing, of course, as well. In the G2 days with Nico and Munacy, it was, you know, I remember the final in Singapore last year, you know, exactly a year ago, where G2 just completely destroyed Spirit, even though you thought Spirit were the favorites heading into the grand final. So I don't know if there's something about the way Munacy is playing, something about the way Nico is playing. We also brought up the statistics that last year when Donk was firing on all cylinders, the only player he couldn't perform against was Nico. So maybe there's something around the way that Nico's playing Counter-Strike, approaching Counter-Strike, that Donk doesn't like. And by then we know it. Team Spirit without Donk playing well, no bueno.
No bueno at all, but it's something that, well, it can't go on forever, right? There has to be a stopping point.
I mean, yeah, you'd say so. You know, it was the same thing with Vitality. We knew at some point they were going to stop winning. It's just a question of when. I will say, though, that 8 matches in a row, that's a long,
it's such a long
time.
period as
It
well,
is, and if it were to happen again today, then it's going to be 9. We're looking at double digits and 10 maybe later on in this tournament or at the major. So I think there's something to be said about this, and it's going to be interesting to follow out right here. I think Donk is super motivated, and Shiro for that matter as well, to end that stat.
but it's all about the other players when it comes to that. And right now, Falcons are in the lead with that in terms of who's be able to perform, who's able to do the magic here. But this is quite interesting, right? No ancient pick coming out from Falcons. We didn't touch it because it came up during the interview. We're actually seeing the nuke pick coming here. They wanted to change things up.
Yeah, it is a good map pool for Falcons. No Inferno. That's the one big weakness they have right now in the map pool. Spirit, not necessarily interested in picking that. We know why. Dust 2 coming in are maps that Falcons can play at a high level. And then, as you said,